Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome for the session where we will be exploring design with comfort. And we will be exploring how basically the elevation of guest well-being can be done through smart hotel spaces. So we often, when we talk about design and comfort, right, and guest satisfaction, we often look into the service and operations. But it starts at a much early stage, isn't it? It starts at a design stage, right? Comfort is something which is like silently integrated in design. And when we do the acoustics or spoke about, the double height for the banquet, all of that, right from the spatial planning to acoustics to lighting to how basically the guests are eventually experiencing the entire space. So it is basically a silent language of design, which is like comfort. And it also, once that is integrated, it also gives us better value for the asset, also give us better guest experience index, and also, make the positioning of the hotel really strong in the market. So keeping that context in mind, let's just hear from our panelist, expert panelist, starting with Senthil. Senthil, how do you think Hilton integrates wellness and comfort into design standards through across geography? Because India is so diverse, right? So how do you think that, Hilton integrates all of that together in various diverse geography?
Thank you so much, Reema. I think that's I would like to thank Bhuvnesh also for inviting me over here. Reema, this question seems to be a very small question, but we can try to talk about the whole day. I think we have a very good team over here, people from brand, from architects and from an execution point of view also. So from a brand perspective, to be specifically from Hilton side, there are, I would like to, go ahead with, specific points over here. One is, we have very clear global standards, which really to set the consistent comfortness across the property, whether a property is made in India or even within India across from north to south. You travel everywhere, the temperature varies, the culture varies. So according to that need, our design take or accommodate the local flexibility also into a picture. So that's the one thing what we really focus, and we are very open about the flexibility factor until unless we achieve the right comfortness. Second thing I would really want to emphasize is sleep first design principle, which we really focus a lot. As Hilton, we focus a lot over and above the stay, which is the sleep experience. These days, if you see, irrespective of the generations, people pay a lot of attention with respect to how they unwind when they really get into the room, how they want to consider that sleep experience. How this really affects. As Hilton, we want to be the catalyst for the wellness, and we would like to start that with a great night's sleep. In order to achieve that, there are various factors comes to picture, let's start with the guest room design. A guest room design or a thoughtful guest room design gives you a good night's sleep. There are various external, internal factors comes into picture. One is how you are going to give the comfort to the guest, which is starting from the time when the guest comes into the guest room, give them the right comfort. That's from the HVAC system, whether the throw is good, right, the right direction. There are a lot of small aspects, which is starting from the blackout of the rooms. So the execution also really plays a major role on that. So that's one of the factors. Other than that, of course, there are various thermal comfortness. It depends upon lot where the locality of the properties comes from. Insulation also plays a major role on those aspects. We push a lot on low VOC materials, which does not really emit too many chemicals into the room. So that we can try to achieve a lot in terms of prefabricated materials, which we can use into the rooms that indirectly benefit us a lot on those?
Well said, Senthil. It's just the globalization as well as the localization of the product. And while doing all these selections, you integrate it very well. Very well said. Now the second one goes to Mitu. How do you, like you've been part of the architecture for a very long time, many decades, right? And how can architects ensure the wellness and comfort do not come at the cost of aesthetics and budget?
Thank you so much, Reema. First of all, I'm really grateful to be sharing space with all the eminent panelists who represent their brands beautifully in terms of controlling the aesthetics, at the same time controlling the cost for the project. So a very valid question. I think for us as architects, it's very important to look at any hospitality project from the three lenses of context, culture, and climate. And I think if we respect all the three C's and the inception of the design is looking at through these three lenses, we are able to control the cost, we are able to give the right aesthetics to the project, and at the same time be more inclusive in our approach. What happens is that when we start looking at aesthetics as something that is going to be costly, is where we are actually, stepping away from the ethos of what hospitality means. It's about really bringing in the real culture, the real essence of a place alive in any hospitality project that we must design. At the same time, how we can control the cost is not something that should be active measure. It should be done passively. How are we respecting the orientation? How are we respecting the sunlight coming in? How can we make our areas more well lit? How can we bring in biophilic design as an element? How can we bring in more natural ventilation? These are the questions we need to be talking about while the design process is going on. And if we are engaging in that conversation and really paying attention to these aspects, is when we don't really need to talk about the active measures that come in later. Another thing that is very important and has come up in many conversations with clients is that, okay, if this is a luxury project, then it will be expensive. Whereas if we look at international models, luxury is moving away from, superfluous design. It's moving away more towards simplicity. So how for our Indian projects also we can look at being more connected with the roots, being more, use of local materials, local technologies, and be more simplistic and bare in our approach rather than making it heavy. So I liked what Sharad Datta spoke about, how we should not waste food. Similarly, how we should not waste areas and how we should not waste materials in any architecture project is something that we should endeavor towards.
Fabulous, Mitu. Luxury is less is more, right? And utilizing every inch of space very efficiently. So to Suraj, I mean, in Wyndham, right, how do you balance a modern product, right, and get the guest satisfaction index also high and still be sustainable? So how do you balance the modern expectation and sustainable goals all integrated together?
First of all, thank you so much, and it's a privilege to share the stage with more than 100 years of experience on this table in this domain. So sustainability and guest experience, I would not say they are two different things. And managing guest expectation, let's call it sustainable guest experience. So there are two aspects to it. One is tangible, like use of local materials, smart energy efficient design. Then there are intangible things which only architects and owners would understand about orientation, maximizing daylight, and how to optimize solar heat gain so that cost on HVAC is reduced. So in hotel industry, there are three basic aspects about guest experience, and then the owner's expectations, of course, how to maximize their profits. So it all goes hand in hand. If guests are satisfied, we increase our guest satisfaction scores, then the hotel costs are also less, owners make more profit, and it's all through that sustainable design. At Wyndham Hotels and Resorts, we also take care of, we have a program called as Wyndham Green from level 1 to level 5. And in that endeavor, level 1 is mandatory for all our hotels. And we are striving to get to level 5 for all of our hotels. And in that, so energy efficiency is one aspect towards it. There are other aspects that who we do business with. So we spoke about optimizing energy expenses, we optimizing the design, local use of material, low VOC materials. Then there are aspects like who we do business with. We partner with suppliers, products who are supporting local communities, do not engage in human trafficking, they do not promote child labor. So those are also aspects related to sustainability. So we take care of that through our Wyndham Green program, and we are working towards it. So going by what Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change we want to see. Yes, we are doing our bit to achieving that goal.
Very good, Suraj. So taking the clue of the materials, actually, what you mentioned, so I'm gonna now come to Dharmik, right? So Gyproc is doing a lot of innovative materials. We met at our office also where you presented whole range of materials and all the innovation you guys are doing. So material intersection and the overall design and guest expectations, how do you balance that entire thing out, and what are the products, which you have to offer, which can create a great revolution in design industry?
Sure, thanks. So the first thing is, I believe material contributes to any project. Same way I will be able to contribute something on this panel. That's what I am expecting or trying to do. As you rightly mentioned, basically we have evolved from material to solution provider. So like it's not only material, because material is something very basic, and if I say I'm giving you this product, it may not satisfy or meet your needs. So like now we have become a solution provider where we are trying to do like just share your requirements with us. And in such cases, when you're talking about say intersection, I believe acoustics is one part. And when we say acoustics, I'm talking about insulation and absorption, both the things. So overall experience of the occupant can definitely be enhanced. And when I talk about acoustics, say starting from very basic conventional brick or block kind of performance, we can also provide a solution which can give you, say, sound insulation up to 55, 60, 65 dB, which is quite high. So that's something about acoustics, so we contribute over there. Second is solution about, as rightly mentioned, about VOC and all. So we don't only give solutions which have lesser VOC content, but we also have solutions which actually absorbs VOC from the environment. So there also we try to contribute a bit in terms of solution providing, where we can provide a better guest experience. So that's another thing. Third thing is thermal. That is something very much in discussion, and with this ECBC codes and all, it's going to be a bigger discussion. So we have got solutions which helps in terms of giving the occupant thermal comfort. And we are also working in the direction of this climate resilience building, because that's going to be a part of design in future, whatever I understood from you people only. So these are the things where we try to contribute, and along with that, when it comes to aesthetics, because when it comes to hospitality, aesthetics plays an important role. We can provide various solutions which can enhance the aesthetics in terms of shapes, design, etc. So these are things I believe as a company, Gyproc will be able to contribute in terms of solution. Thanks.
Thank you. So to Sahil, as part of the Oberois, with India evolving as both leisure and business travel destination, right? How Oberois is adapting design to serve diverse guest requirement, from well-being to luxury to corporate travelers, without diluting the luxury essence and ethos of the brand.
So good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Bhuvnesh, for having me on this panel. I'll keep it fairly macro and very simple as of now. One of the hallmarks, Reema, of an Oberoi hotel is, and a mandate that we have internally is, keep things simple. And if you look at a design of an Oberoi hotel, uh, the moment you enter into the gates of an Oberoi hotel, and I'm not talking of the building, the design is worked out in a manner such that it calms you down. And that's a mandate that we have internally, that with this overall clutter going on in our daily lives, everybody is so busy. Good design is about calming you down, and that is, I think, more and more getting the need of the hour. So, and it doesn't happen by stroke of luck that every Oberoi hotel is, it plays a very positive impact on you in terms of your experience and in terms of relaxing you, making you relax by way of design. So there are some set design principles, just the way a driveway would be, whether a city or a resort. You know, the guest will never be visible from the car of the guest will never be visible from the lobby. There will be an entry court, there will be a landscaped court. So all those things are worked out very, very carefully. And when it comes to the interior design of the hotels, again, that's got a very, very important impact on a guest journey. We don't like using very many materials. We want to keep things simple. Some of the things that are extremely important to our design philosophy is the use of height, light, and space. And there have been numerous studies which actually have been proving that all these factors are very important to a guest experience. So these are the few principles that we try and adapt in each one of our hotel design, and that's how we try and approach this.
Yeah, so you mentioned that the guest car is never visible, right? So how do you actually ensure that efficiency of the space is achieved when you're doing a business hotel? Because this is something which is very common we have seen, like, you know, it's like one of, I think, a standard for Oberois, and which is really good for a leisure properties. But when it comes to a business hotel, so how do you ensure that it's more efficient?
It's a very interesting question, and let me give you a live example. We are doing a hotel in Dehradun, and you'll be very surprised to know that it's a half an acre site. It's a regular matchbox structure. And when my chairman, we went and saw the site, and everybody was skeptical about that project. That will it be, it's a Trident, and will it be a good Trident at par with what we want the future Tridents to be looking like. And it was a challenge that we took upon as the design and planning team, and we obviously handpicked the architect very carefully. And you'll be very surprised to know that in half an acre site, in a matchbox structure, we've been able to achieve exactly what we wanted. And what we did was, without losing the efficiency, we created a series of landscape courts so that the guest journey again gets elevated the moment you enter into the hotel, rather than seeing a lobby which is, which is very predictable. Why don't we make the guest walk through a fantastic landscape court, and why don't we take all these arrival spaces like the lobby or the banquet lobby or what have you to another level? So there are various ways and means of handling this, Reema. Not every time what you will do will be an inefficient design. And during the course of design, which took about 3 or 4 months, and the architect actually went crazy. There have been at least 14 or 15 reviews just at the concept stage. One fine day, I was on a flight from Doha to Delhi, and I was with Mr. Arjun Oberoi, and I said, I want to show you the design of Trident Dehradun. He was shocked himself that in a half an acre site, just by thinking out of the box, sticking your neck out, you could design something as fantastic as this. So not every time it has to be inefficient. There are ways and means of handling this.
That's a great perspective, being smarter with design and thinking out of the box and creating something really unique. So coming to Mitu, you would be dealing with a lot of owners, right? And when it comes to luxury, right, sometimes they take comfort on the side for the sake of being luxurious, right? They want to do bigger and bigger and bigger. And in the process, somewhere the comfort is just kept on the side, or guest well-being, I would say. So comfort is equivalent to guest well-being, and which is, of course, related to guest experience index and guess the way they actually experience the space. So how do you think that, these owners who are actually too much driven by luxury, balance out luxury and well-being?
So it's a very tricky question because I cannot take names of the projects we're currently working on, unlike other panelists. But there are times when you have to really understand what the brand wants, what the client wants, and what the site wants. And there are often at times that, all three of them want different things. So the role of an architect becomes very critical, and we have been in difficult shoes where, the brand has come up with a list of area requirements that is mandatory for a certain level of brand. The owner has a certain level of expectation because, they want to make it more experiential, they want to add more areas, for example, more rooms in the spa, a bowling alley in some, far off location. But the site calls for something else. The site has beautiful views, some outdoor experiences that can be captured without having to rely on more indoor experiences. And I think that's the time when we sit down and really work on the area program. I'll be very specific that a good area program handled well in terms of efficiency can go a long way in actually controlling the cost of a project. So what are the areas for a room? How much balcony space are we giving? How much space is going in the corridors? Are we making doubly loaded corridors or singly loaded corridors which are overlooking the views? What are the indoor spaces we are giving? How much space is going to the all-day dining? Can we give lesser all-day dining indoor space, more terrace space in better locations where the weather is good, or we do vice versa when it rains a lot? How can we make spaces more flexible? For example, a ballroom like this, if given more natural light, can be used for various other things rather than only relying on artificial light. How can we make the pre-function area more flexible so that it can take care of multiple function options? So these are the questions and discussions that need to happen on the table while the design is being churned out. And like you rightly said, there is no set formula for anything. A half-acre site, you can build phenomenal structures. Similarly, with 15, 20-acre site, also you can do disasters, by unnecessarily increasing the areas. So we really need to ask, what is the amount of money being spent on each area? Is it value for money? Is it going to give me that return of investment or not? Are we wasting too much space, or we are not giving enough space? And I have been fortunate to be working with some of the best people in the industry. Many of you are here. And it's a learning process. I mean, for me, a good design is a journey. It's a process. It's not something that has a formula. But we need to question and reevaluate. Maybe look at examples of successful models across the world and see how people have done things differently. Rather than doing different things, we need to do things differently, is how I look at it, and I'm still learning.
Thank you, Mitu. Coming to Senthil, where do you see the bigger gap between the design intent as a brand when we put together, which is conforming to the brand ethos, and operational reality? Because designers design something else, operational reality is something else. Where do you see, a gap, and how that can be bridged?
See, I think that's a very great question, actually. So So this is like, like I think she mentioned a couple of points over there. I think first of all, like when we really start any project, I think the vision really matters a lot over here. I think the owner comes, wants to build a hotel, comes to a brand, either it's Hilton, Oberoi or Vietnam. The positioning of the hotel rightly, what he want to build exactly. So coin down all those things. Then you finalize what the hotel you want to build. Then comes, there are a lot of various other factors. Okay, you got a good, great design. How you're going to execute it? The right material to be used. Sometimes, in spite of like really doing very great designs, we might find the gap because you don't find the right kind of execution. It might be like not choosing the right contractor, or maybe sometimes not the right material, which is not robust or not withstanding the maintenance. That's one of the aspects. The second thing is, we need to do a right balance between the design, the operational aspects also. Like sometimes, we design spaces, if that does not suits the operations rightly, then everything goes for a toss. I think there has to be always a sync between what we design, how the operations is going to operate it. That also really matters a lot because, like for example, if we take this ballroom, we design beautifully with a lot of other aspects, but how this is going to be operated by the operations and very effectively being used by getting some event planners into this, convert this ballroom to something else. I think we need to be more versatile in trying to get those aspects also. I would like to give an example, like I think my other colleagues already mentioned, Zubin, Kanika and everybody. We are doing a Hilton resort, which will be opening in another month's time. I'm very proud to say that we not even used a single Italian marble in that property. I always wanted to do, always say that when it's like, I think that's the completely a local responsive architecture is like, we use kadapa, wood, in fact, even the landscape is completely, the boulders what we get in Hyderabad. And again, how we manage to achieve it is like purely the right sync between the ownership, the brand, operations, like again, everybody's involvement rightly. Otherwise, it's really tough to achieve those kind of aspects. Sometimes what happens is, in spite of we having our design, construction standards and everything, the demand in the market grows very fast. Like for example, like, people nowadays come to the hotel, order for Swiggy, come in. Sometimes they order through Amazon, the packets comes in. How we are going to incorporate those things into the design now? Like, okay, the parcel comes in, where are you going to keep those ones? I'm like, the market is catching up a lot. I think as brand, we all need to be a bit open about those things, incorporate those things into the design so that we can try to be ready for the future things. Thanks.
And also design is just the foundation, right? To position the hotel.
Definitely, yeah.
Right? And operational requirement has to be integrated, right? Design,
Definitely.
that is actually the main filter. Otherwise, design has no meaning if there is no end user and operations.
It's the end user actually who's going to use it actually, so.
So well said. Now coming to Suraj, in your experience, what do you think that the design mistakes usually are made by the execution team or maybe by the designer, which affect the guest comfort as well as the satisfaction?
Well, I wish I could put it concise, but yeah, there are many mistakes, but they are something which is not something out of the box. They are very basic mistakes. If we consider hospitality, hotel design, there are three basic things: good sleep, good shower, and good breakfast. So when we talk about good sleep, it is the acoustic design, good HVAC comfort, good temperature, indoor air quality, treated fresh air, good air changes, and air quality. Acoustics, I would again mention, because acoustics has been a pain point in many of the hotel experiences. So not in the art of hospitality, in the business of hospitality. So that is the thing which is commonly missed. Even a switch socket cut out of a brick wall and there is a puncture, whatever good materials we use, whatever plush materials or whatever nicest materials we use, but still the acoustics is not fail, you are not able to sleep properly, then it's a failure in design. Acoustic design, then blackout curtains, and all those parameters. So that's part of the good sleep experience. Good shower, how often we all have experience, like we turn off the hot shower, we actually have to escape from the hot shower. It's too hot, and sometimes it's too cold. So we have to get the right temperature, use of thermostatic mixers, and use of correct water pressure, and the water quality, no smells, and no foul color. So all those things actually matter in the shower. Those are the most common mistakes. Another mistakes, I always struggle myself also to see a switch bank. Like there are so many switches, no guest room management system. So all those things are also common especially in mid-scale and value segment hotels. So that's something which we try to optimize. That also include optimizing the electrical load. So we want to limit that to a certain things there so that HLP costs do not go haywire while optimizing profits for the owners. Then again, there is another aspect which is commonly missed is the back of house design. We have wonderful chefs who are delivering finest guest experience, our people who are delivering finest guest experience. But if those people are not taken care of in the back of house, there is no air conditioning, there is no proper ventilation, there is no proper exhaust. How can my chef deliver a guest experience if he's all sweaty and his area is not clean, he's not able to maintain it? So those part of the hotel design, back of house design, guest experience, having good shower, good peaceful sleeps, I think we should focus on all that. That is our endeavor also as technical expert, and I am learning every day again and again. After 25 years in the industry, I'm still learning out how to optimize it. I wish I could have a magic wand for solution for the electrical switches. Seriously, I do not want to see so many switches on my bedside. But that is something is being resolved. My friends from other brands, I am always learning. So it is a good thing. I hope we can limit those commonly missed items, and we are there. We are already there. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope we are able to eliminate those mistakes, and especially the mistakes which are done at a core level. Because if there is an architecture defect, right, Mitu, that cannot be rectified. It has to be, somehow managed by poor operations team, right? But if the furniture height is not right, that still can be manageable, affecting the guest comfort and well-being. So coming to Sahil, Oberoi Hotel is known for its timeless elegance and comfort. How does your design philosophy ensures that every space not only look luxurious but also enhance guest well-being in tangible ways?
I think we need to look at this in two separate buckets. One are our business hotels, the other one are our leisure hotels, and we need to understand the guest journey very carefully. In a business hotel, a guest journey is completely different, and hence the demands are fairly different to what they are when any one of us are holidaying. So when it comes to business hotels, something that Suraj spoke very well is usually the pet peeves are too many switches on the bedside. When you're sleepy, you have to find that odd switch which will be in one corner of the room, which will just make sure that you are fully awake at 12 in the midnight, So all these things are basics. I think there has been enough and more that's been spoken. But couple of things that are fairly basic are these switches. And now I can speak on behalf of the group I represent at Oberoi Hotels. There has been 6 months of detailed study that how can we actually work with vendors, with partners, and make sure that it's such a simple system that when you're sleeping and when you're slightly sleepy after having a long day, by just click of a button, you switch off all lights. Now this seems very simple, but believe you me, it's not that simple. That, it has to be a system which is so well worked out that your walk-in wardrobe light and your bathroom light and all those lights go off seamlessly. Then I'd like to speak about another initiative that's worked out very well in our hotels is the use of WhatsApp for all services that are available in the hotel. That is something known as an Oberoi Assist. I've been using it myself, and I can tell you, it's a very, very convenient thing because most of the times we are on these devices and just by click of a button or just by interacting with the hotel, things get delivered to you in a seamless manner. It's not that, odd phone call that you'll have to make or, a plaque that you'll have to put to clean your room. It's so seamless and very well integrated. So these are just basics. The third thing for business hotels, and that's something that our chairman emeritus thought about it maybe 15 years back when we were renovating the Oberoi New Delhi, was the use of clean air systems. If I'm not wrong, we were the first hotel in maybe the country who invested in those systems, and then now that's become a standard, whether it is any of our hotels or any other hotel especially in Delhi, that everybody is looking towards that. When it comes to resorts, one has to look at the design and guest journey completely in a different manner because all of us have got a lot more time to understand and experience the touch points, and hence there has to be a different design solution. We are looking very actively at food and beverage. We are looking very actively at health and wellness. We are looking something that I feel very, very, very strongly, and especially now that I'm a father to a 6-year-old girl, that in most of the hotels that I've been around, and my wife and I, we feel that there are not enough engaging activities for the kids. And believe you me, when I want to go out for a holiday, my first choice is that how will be my daughter's experience? Does she come back more learned that she is? So these are the things that one has to look at very carefully. And we are looking at business hotels, resorts in a very different manner, and the design has to sort of cater to the guest needs, which are completely different.
Very well said. Yeah. Not just one category of guest, but two diverse category and requirement. So coming to the last one to Senthil, Hilton is a global brand, right? How basically you are ensuring like the global standards which are there are pushing more like innovative products and adapting those and pushing them to Indian markets? Something which India has not heard of, something experiential, something which is out of the box, which globally we are doing, and how you're pushing that for India.
See, as Hilton, one thing I'm very clear about what we do is like we are open to everything. We don't really get guided by our design and construction standards. Our design and construction standards is a grammar. That's it. It shows you the specifications, parameters, and performance. But we are very open to materials, what being evolving in the market. One thing I would like to say is like all glitters are not gold, and it's okay for us. I just give you various examples. Like we got very good materials like veneers versus laminates, what we use, SPC material, which is very robust these days. So in a similar manner, we are very open to any materials which gives you the right robust quality with respect to maintenance, guest convenience, and achieve your right performance standards. We are very open. In fact, we relook our standards every 6 months. That's the very critical, very policy what we follow on a rigorous manner. We go through not only from a design perspective or touch and feel or sensory, but also the parameters of the MEP and fire life safeties. So everything like we review on a regular basis. If something really comes, for a particular place where it's not really applicable, we are okay for that one and try to accommodate it to move forward. So for certain buildings which are less than certain meters, we don't ask for sprinklers. So there are various things we are very open about those things.
So to Dharmik, the last one, any interesting product which you have for the next gen hotels?
Yeah, sure. So multiple solutions we have. when we look at next-gen hotels, our understanding and belief is that sustainability is going to be one of the main theme that is globally we are able to see in terms of, say, solution or material choice. So we are now trying to contribute more towards the performance partnering with the, say, designers or the developers. So when it comes to our solutions for next gen, we have got multiple solutions which takes care of, say, one is carbon emission, both operational as well as embodied. So in embodied carbon emission, in India itself, we are able to produce zero energy plasterboards. As we are into drywalls, I mean, we work with most of you, so you know us well. So we have zero energy plasterboards, which is an achievement. We are also trying something the same for the metal. We are also trying to work a lot in terms of giving, proofs of operational carbon reduction, especially because of this thermal efficiency that we can provide in terms of exterior or interior wall. So this is something we are trying to do. Another thing is, I believe the next gen requirement would be more of modular. So we are also advancing, or we have also created some modular solutions for the hotels, like ready-made walls kind of thing, not the entire wall, but part of wall, I mean, one wall in two pieces, this kind of thing. And third thing, what we have understood is this time of material has gone. We need to co-create with the designers, with the end users. So we are a lot of enthusiastic about co-creation with the designers, and I believe this is going to be the way forward for any company. And we are also there to, when I said performance partner, we give a lot of certifications, we give simulations, but now we are also doing on-site certification and testing, what we predicted in terms of, say, acoustics, thermal, etc., whether the products and solutions are performing as per our claims or not. So I believe proof is somewhere in the actual test on site. So these are the things we are trying to do for the next gen.
Thank you to all the panelists for great insight. So we'll close the session. And 3 clear message from all of you. The takeaway is comfort and well-being is not cosmetic, for sure. It's something which is at the core of the product. And design and materials must evolve. We must challenge ourselves and we must do something different and do the right things to create higher guest expectation index. And collaboration is the key. Collaborating with our stakeholders, our partners, our owners, and people who are actually executing it to get the right product and get better asset value. Thank you.